What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode, the first episode actually, of Laid Off to Level Up. So it's officially been 2 weeks since I've been laid off from Microsoft, and I just wanted to come and give y'all an update on what I'm doing now, what I've been doing, what all I went through a little bit more in detail, and of course, what I plan to do next. So stay tuned for that. I'm just gonna be having a conversation with y'all. I might put some stuff up on the screen if I just start popping off and diving into some complex topics, I feel like. But, overall, I know I'm not the only one dealing with layoffs, not the only one in this position. I mean, my whole team, whole organization of people. I was part of a layoff of over 6,000 people at one time on one day. So I know I'm not the only one going through this, and I know I'm not the only one that'll ever go through this. So I just want to be here to say it's 2 weeks in, and this is how I'm feeling. I won't lie, the moment I got the notification of that email on my calendar, and then I went to that meeting and got the news that I was being laid off, it stung. Like, it was a sharp pain, like in my side. Like, y'all know how you get them, like you trying to breathe and you get that one little crook right there, and it's just like, man, like, I don't know how to feel, and I don't know how I'm gonna get through this, but right now it hurts. That's how I felt immediately. That was my immediate reaction hearing the news. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do? How I'm gonna pay the rent, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do this. It was like, dang, like, it's just sharp change. And that's how I felt immediately in the moment. But I think now, 2 weeks after that, I've had time to rest, I've had time to reflect, I've had time to readjust, and I'm in a much better headspace now to be able to talk about how I felt, how I'm feeling, and what's gonna happen. So I just want to start by saying, too, no hard feelings to anyone at Microsoft, any other people there, no hard feelings towards the corporation, the company, anything. I'm forever grateful of all 3 of the internships I did, the amount of full-time experience I got, and overall the entire experience I had and the investment that Microsoft also made in me. I've been flown out to Seattle several times for work, went to a lot of different educational conferences that helped me upskill and learn a lot of new things, met a lot of new people, and, elevated my network in tremendous ways. But most of all, too, as I'll be talking about, updated my resume. I got Microsoft on my resume. That holds weight in a lot of places. So nothing about this conversation is bashing Microsoft. I'm just talking about my experience, and I'm just bringing y'all with me as viewers of my channel. So stay tuned for more educational stuff on what I'm going to be doing. But today we're just going to have a quick reflection. So let's talk about what I've been doing since being laid off. So 2 weeks ago was what they call the notification date, which is the date that your boss or whoever's giving you the message tells you, hey, it's over for you. And then, the HR people come on and they explain to you everything that's about to happen. But part of that is you get a severance package. Working at a big corporation, one of the big pluses is you're not just laid off and left out to dry and die. Like, they do give you a little bit of leeway as you transition into whatever's next for you. Some people later in career, they might think about retiring. Some people, midway through career, they might think about pivoting into a different industry, pivoting into a higher role, or, how can they get a better job than the title that they had before, which is kind of what I'm thinking about. But also, as someone earlier in career, there's thoughts about going back to school, thoughts about, startups and other things, which we'll get more onto later, but severance package. So you have that notification date, which is that date 2 weeks ago when I got the news. Then you have your termination date, which is like you're officially no longer an employee of Microsoft. So my termination date is at the end of, basically the severance package. So 60 days from that notification date. And so between this period, you're still technically an employee of Microsoft. And so there's opportunities to go find other jobs at Microsoft as well as find other jobs elsewhere. But during this time, you're still paid as an employee per your salary. And there's, further discussion of all the other benefits that you get working for Microsoft, like stocks and your signing bonus and everything. And since I was, within 1 year of working at Microsoft, I had a signing bonus, and the way my signing bonus in the contract was written was that I would get half of my signing bonus at my start date and then the other half on my 1-year anniversary. But since I was laid off prior to my 1-year anniversary, I actually get to receive the whole thing on my termination date or 30 days after. So, I mean, you can look at that as a plus, but at the same time, I don't have a job right now. So that part of it is a little bit scary, but at least I get to keep my signing bonus in full. And, you know, also another little thing for anyone early in career, anyone coming out of college and hearing about signing bonuses at these tech companies, oftentimes there are, you know, stipulations in your contract, which you have to read your contracts for sure. Mine said that if I leave Microsoft within 2 years, then I would have to pay that back in full. So I would owe them, you know, however much money my signing bonus was, a couple bands. I'd have to pay that back to them if I left the company on my own volition. That's the contract words, which means you leave it with your own being. So basically you quit. If you quit Microsoft within the first 2 years, you have to pay the signing bonus back in full, which is kind of crazy. But luckily I got laid off, so I don't have to pay that back at all, and I get to keep it. So boom. So severance, you know, figuring out all your signing bonus and all your other bonus stuff, you got to figure all that out. But additionally, your benefits. Microsoft has a really cool benefit which allows you to give you a stipend that pays for any, you know, home upgrades or wellness or something like that. And I used it to upgrade my setup. So more on that later. I got a video coming for that about my upgraded setup. I'm still waiting for everything to come in, but I'm really excited for the content that I'm going to be putting out for you guys. So just stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe. Like always, comment any questions you have. Anything you want me to make a video about, drop it in the comments below, because I got a setup and I got time now. So all that is coming soon. But the benefits, you gotta use them. You know, you got all these great benefits, healthcare, dental, blah, blah, blah. Like I haven't been to the dentist in years, like since I was in high school, and now I finally have like really good insurance. So I went to the dentist in these last 2 weeks. I went to the doctor. I got every checkup, every test run I could get while I still got my insurance, you know. And I also have been using just every benefit. Like they also had a glasses benefit. Used that to get me a new pair of Meta Ray-Ban glasses, you know. Like there's just all these different things that you can use that's being part of one of these big tech corporations that they really invest in their employees, which is true. But if you get laid off, you got to use those quick. And I'll be real too. They also provide you with a career support. So they work with an external company to provide you career support to help you transition to a new role, you know, in or outside of Microsoft or wherever. I haven't used it yet. I have a meeting with that person tomorrow. So I'll give y'all an update on that in my next video like this. But overall, I think I just feel really blessed to be in a situation like this, you know, being laid off and feeling like I still have some level of support. And you know, another thing too is like, since my whole team was laid off, my core team of, you know, the 5 or 6 PMs that I worked with every day, you know, we were all laid off together. So we made a group chat, and we've been texting each other, sending each other jobs, checking in on each other. And I think that part of it too is super, super key. Is like, if you're not alone going through this, you know, there's ways you can navigate this and make sure that everyone around you feels supported, and knowing that you're not alone in this situation is also extremely, extremely powerful. And another thing I did was update my resume, got active on LinkedIn. If you need my LinkedIn, I'll drop it in the comments too. But huge. I mean, the first thing I did was make a post on LinkedIn, and that post got the most impressions and the most engagement I've ever got. And at first I was super scared about communicating the fact that I've been laid off. I mean, we have egos, we have feelings, and we want to a lot of times portray ourselves in the most perfect way. And it's so easy to say, make a post on LinkedIn that says, hey, I got a job at LinkedIn, I got a job at Microsoft, and blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, super proud of me. But it's extremely hard to come and say, hey, I've been laid off. Like, especially someone early in career, you might have fear that people are like, oh, he got fired, and they might not understand the layoff. Or, I've got family that might not understand how that happens and how people get laid off, sometimes for no reason. And they might think, oh, some people on LinkedIn might think I'm underperforming, or some people on LinkedIn might think this. But I think overall what I learned from being really open about that experience was the power of communication, the power of being able to express yourself outward to the world, and how many opportunities that can bring in. I mean, that post itself generated a huge activation of my network. People that I haven't talked to in years were hitting me up to check on me, refer me to jobs, offer support in different ways. And that never would have been possible if I hadn't been open and honest about the experience that I had about being laid off, especially that day. People take time. People take their time. I chose to act quickly and communicate the layoff as I was seeing the headlines come out, and communicate that I had been affected. And I think as a result of that, the activation of my network was just hit so much harder, because they could see the news headlines and immediately relate a person that they know to the headlines that they saw. And I think another important thing about it too is I was even reached out to people that survived the layoff to get referrals back, to come back to the company. And I've had conversations with people at the company about potentially returning. And it is something that I'm considering at this moment. But I think that's the key part of it too, is that when you're experiencing huge organization-wide layoffs like that, knowing that it's not your fault, and that there is still opportunities to return back, at a similar role, on a different team, and that you can still provide value back to that company. Because at the end of the day, like I said, they made an investment in me. I learned all this AI stuff. I learned how to build agents. I learned how to work with Microsoft Copilot. I learned the whole technology stack as it relates to AI and so many other things of product-led growth and, just e-commerce as a whole. I just learned so much in that experience, and the role that I was in just allowed me to really learn a lot. And that's valuable to any team I go on, and to any organization that I join, or any job that I take, whatever, it's valuable. And I plan to use it. So that's it for the resume LinkedIn section. So now that we've talked about a lot of the stuff that I've done, let's talk about where I'm going. So I won't lie, it's always been a dream of mine to have my own startup, to build a software startup, to really impact the world and the way the world sees and interacts with technology. If you've watched some of my other videos, I've explained that, but I'm really claiming it here now in this moment, that is something I am completely 1000% intend to do. However, I do got bills to pay. I'm not a rich kid, so I am also looking for jobs too at the same time. But in the background of all of this Microsoft stuff, I've been building a consulting business. I have software stack that I've been working on since college. I have projects that are sustained and have been working on since college. I have the Aisle 5, the store that I've been managing for the last couple of years as well. So I have these outside ventures that I've been cultivating, as I mentioned in my last video. And I feel like all of these things wrapping together, and this experience that I have wrapping together, really allows me to take small businesses, understanding them not only as a small business owner, small business operator, small business software provider, but just overall what it takes to have a small community-oriented business, and how you can scale it, grow it, but also still be deeply rooted in the community, and how you can help the community that you're serving and that helped grow you in the first place. And that's all what I'm about, basically. I really want to build software and build businesses that help small businesses, and I'm fully committed to that. Whether that's through the next job I take, or whether that realizes itself through the growth of my startup. But as you know, more on that later. This is the future we're talking about, so you stay tuned to these videos, and you're gonna see me build all of this step by step. So like, comment, and subscribe. That's it for the future. And someone in the comments of my last video asked a lot of questions about how I made it to Microsoft, what the interview process was like, what the hiring process was like, what were some of my favorite moments at Microsoft. And I'll be dropping more videos on that stuff later. So I appreciate your comment, and I will definitely be addressing those in the future. And I also saw a lot of, kind of negative comments about the job market, about Microsoft, or about other tech companies and the layoffs that we experience. And I think that I just want to say, working at one of these companies at this level is a blessing. I get to work from home, I get to work on my computer, and overall the work is not physically intensive. So, who am I to complain? You know what I mean? At the same time, it's a lot of mental struggles that go on working in an environment like this. But like I said, there's resources to help you deal with that. There's things you can do outside of work. Go to the park, go pick up a hobby, go work out to help you with that. Have friends outside of work too. That's another major key, is having a great support system, which I'm super appreciative. Shout out to all my friends, family, everybody that's been able to help me throughout this situation, check on me, whatever. And just overall, even if you're not asking about it or you don't even know about it, just being there for me and we just hanging out, whatever. I appreciate all my people for real. Especially if you watching the video to this long, I appreciate you too, most of all. And I think overall, you just want to know, like, hey, if you're going through this layoff stuff, if you're going through a transition, you'll get through this. If you want to know how I'm approaching it, keep watching my videos. And I'll be dropping more videos for a lot of these topics throughout the year. But if you want something prioritized, as a product manager at Microsoft, everything is about prioritization. How you prioritize your time, how you prioritize the software and the features that you're releasing, how you prioritize your life, okay? And if you want me to prioritize the video that I'll make next, just drop the idea for it in the comments. Whatever comment gets the most likes, I'm gonna try and make that video ASAP. And yeah, I just wanna say thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. More videos coming, new setup coming, more velocity on how I release the videos coming. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Catch y'all on the flip side. Block Genius signing out.